big boobied babes, blood, a wisecracking demon, and Nazis? We watched Knucklebones. We watched it so you don't have to. So you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
Welcome, Moongoons, to Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Mr. Marshall Hampton. With me is my co-host, Mr. Aaron Southworth. Aaron, how are you doing today?
Okay.
He keeps it simple.
No, man, I'm doing good. I'm happy to be back. The lazy summer is basically over. It's winding down.
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, school's back in session. We're middle of September now. Basically, well, just about middle of September.
You know what happens in the middle of September?
What happens in the middle of September?
My birthday.
Your birthday?
Yes. I'll be a young whippersnapper at 38.
Yeah. We're youngins.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I make no bones about it.
No bones.
No bones.
No bones. Like maybe no Knucklebones.
No Knucklebones, because we watched Knucklebones.
That's what we did. Before we get into that, we have a few things to get off our chest. That makes it sound like we're going to rant or bad things.
I know, like I really got to unload something personal. Guys, I really got to tell you about this.
We're going to get deep here. No, we're just, remember, we're going to, just coming in November 4th and 5th, we're going to be at the St. Louis Horror Sci-Fi Pop Culture Convention called
Contamination.
Thank you, Aaron. Yes, Contamination will be here in St. Louis at the Crown. What is it? What did I say? Crown Plaza Hotel by the airport. So everybody who's listening in the area, and even if you're not in the area, it'd be
especially
awesome.
if you're not in the area.
Yeah, come on in.
Come on in, check out our city. We HuffPost just did a thing about St. Louis. So St. Louis, the place to be. Just don't go north of Edward Jones Dome. But seriously,
yeah. Just stay on the highways at that point. So we're gonna be there. It's gonna be awesome. So definitely come by, check it out. We'll be doing a live show at some point there. There'll also be a bunch of celebrity appearances, celebrity guests from the horror and sci-fi world. It was a lot of fun last year. We're going back.
I had a great time last year.
It was a blast.
Last year was fun.
Definitely come and check it out.
I was a scared little noob. It was my first. It was my first con, and I was a host. We were doing the booth.
Yeah.
So my first con and booth. So
not my first con, but my first time being I get what you'd call a vendor.
Right.
Having
it was
your booth there.
Double cherry popping for me.
Yeah.
Be gentle. And it was great. Talk about a great way to treat a guy's first time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wine me, dine me, and it was great.
That's what we did. So yeah, definitely check November 4th and 5th. Check that out. Also, we want to, we need to mention something exciting here that we have up. It's still a work in progress, but we're adding to it all the time. We now have a Patreon page for all of you Moongoons and our listeners to help support the show. The more we do this, we love doing it. We want to keep doing it, and there's a lot more things we would like to do, but just we're unable to at the time. But if you go to our Patreon page, you can donate money to the show, which will in turn help us do all these other things we want to do, bring you more content, better quality content, and also maybe do things like some videos, some animation stuff. Also help us get out more merchandise and just be an all-around better, more inclusive experience for us and for you guys, our awesome listeners. So you can go there, sign up, and just donate some money to us. It'd be awesome. It's www.patreon, that's PATREON.com youtube.com/horrible horror. And speaking of which, we did actually need to give a big shout out to GBHL, who was our first donation.
Is it GBHBL?
Yeah, that could be it.
I think that's it.
That's
it.
It's like games, brains, something, and headbanging live is their Instagram
yeah.
or their thing. But they were our first donation on the Patreon page, so big shout out to them. They're kind of sponsoring this episode.
So we'll give them a shout out.
Give them a shout out right now.
And whenever you guys do, please, we'll definitely should give you a shout out. Let's, please give us your money, please.
Give us your money.
We need it. Because we do this for free, and our equipment's getting old. We're needing some new stuff. We got new designs coming down the pike.
Yeah, we have new logos.
New logos coming up, which are going to be launching very soon. We're very excited about that.
Yeah, so we'll have new shirts, hopefully. And again, the money we get from donations will help us.
Yeah, none of this goes into our pocket.
Nope.
It literally goes right back into the show.
All of it. So yeah, keep that in mind. It'd be awesome. But with that said, let's move on to the episode, the meat and the potatoes, as Aaron likes to say, of Knucklebones. This little gem of a movie was released in 2016. I don't have a day or
It's
a
a new
month.
one.
It's
a newer
relatively
one.
New.
Yeah.
Written and directed by Mitch Wilson. And it's actually pretty easy to find. You can find it on Amazon, Amazon Prime. It's free. It's where I watch it. It's also on iTunes, YouTube, Vudu, and Google Play. So unlike some of the other ones we've done, it's actually pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
Cast. All right, let's talk about the people in this cast. There's a few people we're going to mention. First, we're going to mention Justin Arnold, who plays Travis. He's got 43 credits to his name. Such movie gems as The Zombie Christ, Vamps, Blood and Smoking Guns, Psycho Killer, Bloodbath, and The Devil's Gravestone.
Sounds right in our wheelhouse.
It really does.
Yeah.
I want to see like all those movies. Then we have Adam, who's played by Cameron Dean Stewart. He's got 26 credits, mostly a lot of TV work, but he was also in the hit movie Pitch Perfect. It was kind of a big hit with a lot of girls.
Right.
And he's also on an episode of The Walking Dead back in 2014 titled Inmates, so it had to be one with the prison, I guess. Season 3, I guess it would have been.
I guess,
and where he played a character named Chris.
Yeah, it's when they got out of that fucking farm on season 2. Jesus.
Well, the farm
Fuck
wasn't
that
so
farm.
bad. It was a goddamn highway.
Fuck that farm.
God damn you, Sophia. You wasted a whole season. Anyway, then we have Knucklebones himself, played by Tom Zembrod. 39 credits, including Kicking Zombie Ass for Jesus, which is that's an awesome name. Body Harvest, The Ouija Experiment 2, Theater of Death, and I love this one. Ticked Off Trannies with Knives is the name of the movie, and he plays a character by the name of Boner. So
is that on Logo or like right after RuPaul's Drag Race? Yeah. Although RuPaul's Drag Race just went over to VH1.
Did it?
Not that I watch it or anything. Totally watch it. Totally watch it.
All right, and then we have two more people we'll talk about. We have Melly, I guess is played by Erin Marie Garrett. Now I only mentioned her because one, she's got an insanely hot body. Two, she had some interesting background. She played for the Dallas Desire in the Lingerie Football League.
Nice.
Where she is considered to be a legend of the sport.
Ooh.
Because she was voted in the top 30 hottest athletes of all time, which I guess is just mean hottest athletes of the Lingerie Football League. Where she was voted number 25 out of top 30.
It's got to be of all time.
Yeah. Well,
One would
it says
think.
all time, but when you say athletes of all time, you make things like, okay, what was that hot tennis girl that everybody big? Anna Kournikova. Was in there. But it didn't say that. I think it's just like the hottest
lingerie football
players of all time.
Well, and to be 25, it's like,
but anyway, there's that. And last person I'm going to mention is she might be getting up to Hall of Fame standards now. She's getting close to earning a nod into our Hall of Fame.
Whoa.
Yeah. We have our lead girl is Nessa or Nessie or whatever her name is, played by Julin. Now this is her third appearance on our show.
What else was she in?
She's got 25 credits. Like I said, this is her third appearance.
Okay, I don't care about anything else about what she's been in our movie.
Right. Most recently, she was in Spirit Camp.
Okay.
Cheerleader one. But it turned out her very first appearance was way back in episode 4 when we did Sweatshop.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So
Holy shit, you're right.
Third appearance.
Whoa.
So that means that's one more. And we're gonna have to start talking Hall of Fame here for Miss Julin.
That's pretty impressive.
It is. With that out of the way, let's move.
It's no Ron Jeremy, but
no Ron Jeremy at all. But she would be our first female inductee. We don't have one of those yet.
Come on, lady, step it up.
Yes, come on. All right, so in the movie itself, okay, awesome. It opens in 1944 in Nazi Germany, which right off the bat, we're starting with Nazis. That's fucking crazy.
I was in. Right when I saw that, I'm like, all right, where are we going?
Where are we going with this? Nazis. We're some sort of Nazi complex, like
underground bunker, if you will.
It's like a secret underground science lab. There's Nazi officers walking around, scientists.
They have the guys in uniform. They have scientists with long hair, looking crazy. Then they're all putting on goggles, getting ready to do this experiment.
So the main scientist, he orders to start the experiment to begin. And they watch from the safety, their room in the sealed containment room where it's going on. And for some reason, the containment room has like a dirt floor and like stone walls, which was really weird compared to the rest of the building. And also there's cargo netting covering the windows, which doesn't make it seem like a very secure secret laboratory to conduct, dangerous or top secret experiments where you just have like a glass window with cargo netting covering it.
Hey.
But anyway, so a naked woman is there and she's in the room, and so we get boobs like in the first minute of this movie, less than a minute.
Oh my goodness. And
she gets draped by like this shroud, like these two cloaked men.
Guten Tag, Fraulein. I mean, goddamn. That was nice.
Right. Seriously, like first minute,
I might consider the Nazi salute because woo, she was hot. She was hot.
She turns around, faces the camera, and so she gives me like shake her head like back and forth, and
it's kind of like that quick stop motion kind of. Yeah,
it's like you've seen like House on Haunted Hill and like
But
like,
they didn't overdo it.
No, she just her head's going faster. It's an inhuman rate, and then we see the lead scientist. He's looking on, smiling, and
he's into it.
The naked woman, throws her head back as smoke or mist or something bellows out of her mouth, and then her head just explodes. It's awesome. Just explodes. Blood splatters on the windows. The door to the containment room bursts open, and standing there is this large, zombie-looking demon in tattered clothing.
Yeah, with like torn up Jenkos. No.
Yeah, it's just like a torn up.
It's almost like mummy, sort of like there's like rags hanging from him too.
He's like a modern day homeless mummy.
Yeah.
So at this point, we don't really get a look at his face or anything. In the scene, but he just proceeds to slaughter all the zombies.
Goes to town on these
everybody.
Nazis, and I'm like, I can get behind this.
Yeah,
this is great.
Killing Nazis. There's the lone female scientist. She makes a run for it and tries to hide behind a hospital bed in another room. The demon easily finds her, and right before he shoots her in the face with an assault rifle, he says, "Heil Hitler!"
Yeah, boom. Then you hear boom, fade to black.
Yeah.
And that scene was great because it's. Fuck zombies, or fuck Nazis. Everyone can get on board with that, fuck Nazis. And then, he's coming through, he's slaughtering them, boom, 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 killing them left and right. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm on board. The scientist runs away and he gets up, boom. And he's got this crazy voice.
Yeah, the voice, sometimes I like it. It's pretty demonic, very guttural. But there's a few times where it gets a little hard to understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
But overall, it's pretty good for a demon voice.
Yeah,
it's
not
I have
bad.
no problem with it.
But I thought it was just good.
Good opening to the movie.
Bravo.
I'm on board. I'm like, all right.
You hooked me.
Yeah. So blackout roll opening credits. After the credits, we've jumped to Texas in 1976, and we're at a garment factory, and we see this woman. She's working the night shift.
She's by herself.
She's sewing. She stops when she hears the sounds, like the faint sounds of talking or voices coming from somewhere. You can't really make out what the voices are saying. At least I couldn't. She starts wandering around looking for her son Billy, who's supposed to be
Billy,
there with her.
Come on, Billy.
Which I don't understand why her son Billy would be there. I don't know, but anyway, he is. So she's wandering around. The voices are getting louder. And then suddenly, for seemingly no reason whatsoever, her ankle just snaps in half.
And we're talking snaps like compound fracture.
Yeah, like bone ripping through
bone
skin.
sticks through skin, and she's like, I'm like, bitch doesn't get enough calcium. Damn.
It's got some osteoporosis.
Someone needs a boost in their life.
So she's like laying down on the floor. She's crying out like, Billy.
She's like, broken.
Like,
yeah.
And Billy, mommy's not mad. It just hurts. Then we hear the sounds like more bones just snapping and crunching as her body's twitching and spasming.
And she's still calling for Billy,
Yeah,
though.
she's still
like,
yelling
she's not
out.
really screaming too much in agony.
No,
she's more just going, Billy!
Yeah, it's like, Billy, you better come here right now or you're all going to be in big, big trouble. But then when she says the word trouble, her voice changes to like the guttural, demonic voice.
Yeah.
And another blackout. Then we see this kid emerge from a hiding spot. All around him are just dead bodies. He walks around the garment factory, finding more and more bodies, just bloody.
And yeah, Billy doesn't give a fuck
He
about
really
these dead
doesn't.
body.
For like seeing like a massacre.
He's
this
like
kid's
13,
like,
maybe 13.
Yeah, 12,
and he's
13.
just slowly strolling through the place.
Doesn't
Mutilated
seem
body to the
care.
left, decapitated body to the right. He's looking at it like,
Well, he's so cool and chill because, you know, you can tell he's a cool and chill guy because he's got a sweet puka shell necklace on.
Fuck yeah, it is.
In 1976.
Man, he had zero fucks to give about those bodies.
He did. Anyway, what is it? Oh, he comes to this one room, and on the floor, drawn in chalk, is a pentagram, and there's some oddly shaped dice lying in the middle of it. He picks up the dice and some old papers that are lying next to the pentagram, and then he continues wandering around the factory looking for his mom. But as he turns the corner, he gets grabbed by the demon. Boom, another blackout. And we jump to present day, 40 years later.
We're just leaping through time.
Yeah, we're just leaping through. Yeah, we are.
We were in the 40s, then we're in the 70s, now we're in present day.
Present day. And we're at some small town, like local carnival or something going on. And here's where we meet our main girl, Nessa, who's buying a funnel cake.
And has a fetish for feeding kids.
She does.
She wants to fatten kids up.
She buys this cake and turns
This funnel
around,
cake, yeah.
and immediately there's this little weird kid standing there. And he's like, "Hey, you want this?" Even though I just bought it for myself.
No.
But hey, you
Here,
want this?
Here, kid, eat this funnel cake.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like, what?
That's
Like-
how she keeps her figure. She just buys really fatty foods
And then
and
gives it
watches
to
other
other
people
people
eat
eat
it just because she wants to keep that banging bod. So she's just like, oh, I can't eat this. I want it so bad. And just watches other people eat food. That's what it is.
That's hilarious.
That's
I love
what it is.
Love that theory. Because I thought that was so weird. It's like, why even waste your money if you're going to turn around and give it to the first person you see?
Because that's what gets her off, man.
So, anyway, Nessa's boyfriend slash fiance, Ryan, he shows up with this giant stuffed
It's like
elephant.
fucking huge.
It's like 4 feet, 5 feet.
so
it's
big.
massive. Gives it to her. But then as soon as he
And
gives her
she's
this
like
thing,
laughing. Oh, you love me.
Yeah.
You're my fiance.
Fiance.
He's saying that this
Yeah.
is his fiance.
but as soon as he gives her the elephant, he's just like, "Hey, I'm breaking up with you." It's like,
Drop that
what?
bomb. Badoosh. I mean, damn. Talk about what a hell of a way to end a relationship. You're at the carnival having fun. She's calling you the fiance. You give her the biggest fucking stuffed animal you can. Oh, I love you. I'm breaking up with you.
I know, it's so weird. I had like a whole rant about this because like I don't get it. First of all,
I kind of loved it. I
First of all-
kind of loved it.
he says basically the reason is I don't want either one of us to miss out on more opportunities when we go to college, which basically translated, I want to bang other girls
Yes.
in college. That's
Yes.
exactly what that means.
Yeah.
So, but what I think is I don't understand why you would dump her at the carnival after giving her the big. So you go all this trouble, you bring her out on the
Well,
date,
that's-
you
it's-
give her the stuffed animal, and you're like, "Oh, I'm dumping you. Bye."
It's to soften the blow, Marshall.
But first of all, I would think
It's
one,
to soften the blow.
you're out there together. That's gonna be an incredibly awkward drive home. I mean, you're thinking.
Obviously not, because he just got the fuck out.
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna say, but that's why I wrote down first. I'm like, that's gonna be an awkward car. But he's
Yeah.
like, nope. He just bounces. He just leaves her ass at the carnival, standing all over this giant, like 100-pound stuffed animal.
God.
And he's like, I'm out.
Deuces. Or Out.
Double clap. So now we cut to Nessa's house where we meet her mother and her younger sister. The mother goes into Nessa's room. She finds the giant stuffed animal like ripped to shreds on the floor. It's just in pieces. There's stuffing everywhere. She goes into the attached bathroom and finds Nessa, whatever her name is, dead in the bathtub from suicide. She
Wrist
her
slit, blood all over the place. Ah!
Yep. She screams. Nessa wakes up in the hospital bed. No cut marks on her wrists in any way at this point.
No cut marks, no bandages, nothing.
Not even. She's fine. She gets out of bed, starts walking around the hospital, which is completely empty.
And
Nobody
she's
there.
leaving bloody footprints behind.
Yeah, which
behind.
is
so
weird.
instantly it's like, okay, dream sequence.
Yeah.
You know, you obviously have no wounds. You got bloody footprints. No one's around. Something's going on.
Yes, and now just like the woman in the factory, she starts hearing like distant, faint voices. More walking around. Eventually, she ends up in like.
It kind of reminded me like Lord of the Rings. You know, like Lord of the Rings when Frodo's like playing with the ring and he's about to put it on. He's going, gosh.
Oh, okay, the voices.
Yeah, the whispering voices. Very much like
okay,
Lord.
I thought just like, where are you going with
the
this?
one ring
like,
to rule them all
like,
whispers.
There's no hospital and blood footprints in Lord of the Rings. I don't know where you're going.
You know when Frodo and Sam checked into like St. Elizabeth's Hospital.
Mordor Mercy Hospital.
Yeah.
All right,
Mordor Mercy. I like that.
Anyway, she finds herself in like the furnace room or like one of the industrial mechanical rooms of the hospital, and on the floor she finds this small metal but somewhat elaborate box, and she opens it up. Inside she finds the odd looking dice, and we hear voices saying, "Knucklebones, Knucklebones, blood runs red. Knucklebones, Knucklebones, wake the dead." And then she gets grabbed from behind by the demon. But then, boom, she wakes up screaming back in the hospital bed. So dream sequence is over. This time her wrists are actually wrapped up in gauze.
Now she's legitimately back in reality, all fucked up from
everything's
slashing
normal.
her wrist. She's got bandages. She's hooked up to a monitor.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're back to reality.
Sheriff Anderson, now we meet him. He stops by to visit Nessa. And she turns out he's like an old family friend. Like he was friends with her dad for a long time. But we also learned that her dad had committed suicide as well.
You know, suicide runs in the family.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's basically what he's going at. Yeah.
Is that why you're trying to kill yourself, honey?
So after this conversation between Anderson and Nessa, we go back to Nessa's house where her friend Samantha, who is tall and giant-titted.
God damn.
She's got a great body.
God damn. Okay, there's a prerequisite to be in this movie.
Yeah,
you had to have a C cup or higher.
Or higher, yeah.
You know, because holy shit.
Yeah, everybody in this movie has got some big old titties. I guess a great way. C cup or higher, man. This is
impressive.
And everybody looks great too. Everybody's cute
Oh,
and really pretty.
The tiniest waist, big butts, big boobs, hair that's just full, luscious.
Yeah, it's like the most perfect women.
Jesus Christ. Where is this small Texas town
yeah,
you speak
Texas,
of?
we'll go here. So where were we? Oh yeah, Samantha. Samantha shows up and basically convinces Nessa to come out with her and her friends to check out an old haunted factory.
Okay, so while she's waiting for her big boobied friend to show up, her mom does stop by and say, "Hey, why don't you eat something? At least take a pain pill." Oh, it's the front door, and leaves.
Yeah.
And it shows Nessa grab the bottle of pills. That's like Suicide Watch 101.
Yeah.
Is you don't leave the person who just failed suicide with a fucking giant bottle of opioids.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's just bad parenting there.
Come on. And Nessa grabs the pills. She throws them all in her hand, and she's like contemplating. She's like, oh, I'm going to fucking do it right this time. Her friend walks in. She puts the pills away and puts them in her pocket.
Yes. Okay. So cue driving montage now, and here we're introduced to the rest of our main group. So besides Nessa and Big Titted Sam, we also have Big Titted Kaya,
Yes,
Travis, and Adam. Now, it's also worth noting here that Nessa is no longer wearing any kind of wrap or bandage over her wrists, even though she was wearing them just seconds ago.
Well, she's wearing like bracelets. She's wearing like bracelets to hide the scars.
Not even, they don't hide it because the movie makers totally forget to put any kind of scars or stitches on her wrist throughout this whole movie.
She was wearing bracelets, man.
But still, you still clearly see her wrist.
It wasn't that
They're not
bad.
like bracers covering up.
Well, here's the question. I didn't see it that clearly. I wasn't paying that much attention. Did she go north-south or east-west? Did she go vertical or horizontal with her slice?
Oh, that's a good point. I guess.
Because if she went, horizontal just across the wrist, that's
Yeah.
more of a cry for help.
Yeah.
If she went vertical, she's trying to fucking do it right.
I think she's supposed to have gone vertical because of some stuff that comes up later in the movie says. So, I don't know. But either way.
You can still die from going, horizontal, but it's more of it's a slower bleed.
Okay. I don't know. Either way, I just thought it was lazy filmmaking. They didn't do any kind of. I mean, even if you're wearing
I was okay with the bracelets.
I would still think you would still have wraps, like some gauze for a few days to a week afterwards, just to heal properly. I mean, this makes it seem like it's the next day. She's out of the hospital and she's like, next day she's out with no marks. So anyway, nitpick, I guess, but it just
it's a little nitpicky.
It bothered me. So anyway, the group arrives at the old garment factory, which looks like fucking Terminus from The Walking Dead. It looks like the Terminus set. It really does. And they all head inside.
It's a big fucking factory.
Yeah, it's giant. They head inside and they magically find a generator that happens to be working after all this time. It's like immediately.
I'm okay with it. We got to move the story along. I don't want them wandering around for 5 minutes.
No, but it's just like, oh look, generator still works.
Sweet.
And it still has gas and power to this.
So we got good lighting.
Abandoned factory. It's been
Thank
abandoned
you.
for like 40 years.
So we got lighting. Basically, it's like an explanation for lighting.
Yeah. There's also a quick scene of Sheriff Anderson getting a call from Nisa's mom saying that Nisa's gone. She left without any word. And basically Anderson's like, okay, I'll be out to look out for her.
Wouldn't she know she's with her friend, considering her friend? She let her friend in.
That's a good point. She's
Jeez,
like,
come
mom
on.
was like, yeah, she's probably out with Sam somewhere.
No shit.
That's a great point. That's why I didn't think about. So the group's now sitting around, they're drinking beer, they're talking, and the conversation eventually comes to Nisa's suicide attempt. And she tells them that she didn't try to kill herself, but she actually did.
She was gone for 6 minutes.
Yes, the doctor said she was dead for 6 minutes before she was revived.
So that kind of made me think about Reanimator. Do you remember the threshold for brain death?
Isn't it
was 6 to 12 minutes?
Oh yeah,
I've
6 to
gone
12.
beyond that.
12 minutes.
I was like,
right.
bitch, you were playing with fire there.
Yeah.
You almost went brain dead. And they even mentioned that, too.
Yeah, they did.
And that's what made me think about it. I was like, oh, Reanimator.
Yeah, I always thought like if it was 2 minutes, you were going brain dead. Like 2 minutes without oxygen.
It's
or
all
something like
kind of dependent.
Anyway, so here Nessa starts hearing faint sounds of children singing. So everyone gets up and they start going off to investigate this.
Oh, and it is to be said that the one chick, the other girl that's with him, Kia, she has short hair and she's super into the supernatural.
Yeah, she's really into.
She's really into. This is supposed to be a haunted factory, and she's all in it. So when she says, "I hear something," she's like, "Fuck yeah, let's go check it out."
Yeah, she's all about it.
She's game,
and she's got her. She's just insanely great body too. Like,
yeah, of course.
She's the shortest one. She's petite, but her tits are huge. We're talking like
big,
double
beautiful
D,
lips,
like F cups or something.
Yeah, we're talking DSLs. I mean, my God.
I mean, yeah, they're all gorgeous. So the next several minutes are just them wandering around, chatting, and trying to scare each other.
And it's kind of fun. It's good. It's decent.
It's not bad.
It's not bad writing.
No. Eventually, they come to a wall, which Nisa says the sounds are coming from the other side of this wall. So Adam just says, "Hey, I happen to have the tools in my truck that can break through this wall."
They knock on it. It sounds hollow. He's like, "I've got tools in my truck. I can knock this down." So next scene.
So the tools he comes back with really make me question Adam and think that he's a serial killer in waiting.
Because listen to this list.
Yeah. Okay. Bayonet.
Yes.
A machete. Large gardening shears.
Yes.
An axe. And a fucking chainsaw.
To top it off with a chainsaw. What kind of tools are these?
Who carries these around with them?
And these are his tools.
Serial killer, that's who.
That's the tool of the trade.
It's a tool.
Tools of the trade, man.
This guy
and it's
needs to be put on
funny
a watch list.
because he's laying them out, and it's so specific the way he lays it out. Bayonet.
It's
Machete.
like Dexter laying out his killing.
Exactly. So basically, I'm like, okay, someone's gonna die from a bayonet. Someone's gonna die from a machete.
Exactly.
Just like, okay, I get to see all the murder weapons ahead of time.
That's exactly what this is.
Thanks, Knucklebones.
Really, thanks Adam, because he's the one who brings them in. If it wasn't for Adam, Knucklebones wouldn't have the tools.
Well, that's true.
So they cut through the wall with the chainsaw easily, and they find a pretty large old metal box. And when they open it up, they find a Nazi uniforms, a bunch of old papers, a gas mask.
Yeah, so it's all German 1944 memorabilia, like where we
Yes.
were at the beginning.
Exactly.
SS uniforms, yeah.
But they also find the small metal box that Nisa saw in her dream.
Which she did not mention.
She did not.
Which I was a little like, wouldn't she be like, whoa, shit.
Yeah, I've seen that
You know,
before. Yeah,
holy
she doesn't
crap.
That's a good point. She doesn't say it at
Yeah,
all.
she's like, oh, what's that? Like, duh.
So Travis comes to the conclusion that this factory is making uniforms for the Nazis on the side to try to make extra profit during the war. Nessa reads one of the papers, which says something like, the dice in this box are made from the knuckle bones of a human hand over 2,000 years ago. So we get just a quick explanation of the dice and why they look so odd. It's not like regular dice. Kia then figures out the other papers are instructions for a demon summoning ritual, which she very easily convinces the others to try.
Who wants to raise a demon?
Everybody's like, oh, okay, sure, let's do this. There's like really no...
No, they had a diplomatic vote. They did have a diplomatic
but
vote.
it's still, it's like nobody really put any real objection into this idea. Nobody's like, I'm not doing this and walking away.
Right.
They're like, okay, well, yeah, you two, sure.
Well, at the same time, it's like I don't mind this because it's like there's no such thing. It's just something fun to kind of do and goof around with. So I mean, I'd do it. I'd be there too, man. I'd do it.
I know.
If it got me the opportunity to bury my face in between those boobs, yeah, I'd raise a demon.
They are demon-worthy boobs.
Yes.
Like, I think I'm right there with you.
Yes.
I do that as well. So they draw the pentagram on the floor, and basically what they have to do is draw the pentagram on the floor and then roll the bone dice so that all the dice land in the center portion of the pentagram. Kia and Travis each take a turn rolling the bones, but neither one of them is able to get all the dice to land in the center.
Yeah, and they all have this like little saying they say.
Yeah, there's some like
like a little limerick they
limerick,
say
yeah.
before they roll the bones.
And the words, they also even say like it's not really the words that matter; it's the intent and the rhythm. So everybody's doing like knucklebones, something, 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 knucklebones, something, something,
Right.
something.
But it's like these clever sons of bitches. You know? I feel like knucklebones. Please be cute. Knucklebones. Play my wiener flute. You know? I don't know.
So yeah,
that's how bad it would be.
Yeah. After a few seconds, I'm sorry. Nessa is the third one to go. She rolls the dice, and of course, she nails it perfectly in the center. A few seconds of nothing go by. Everybody's like, "What?" Well,
yeah.
okay,
She's like, "Oh, well, that's a bummer." Like, what did she expect?
Yeah. But Kia stands up, like, "Well, I don't get this. What is nothing happening?" And then, as soon as she stands up, like, basically her forearm just snaps in half again.
Just like the
stewardess
in 1976, or seamstress,
yeah. Bone ripping out through the skin. Everyone's screaming in panic. Then the same thing happens to her leg again.
Her leg breaks, all compound fractures. She falls to the ground.
And then again, just like before, we hear more sounds of bone crunching and snapping are heard. And she starts spitting out blood as her stomach gets ripped open from the inside. Two demon hands like rip out of her stomach, followed by this demon head that rises up through her.
Smoke and blood.
Yeah.
He climbs out of
through her stomach. Naturally, everybody else takes off running. Kia dies. She's dead. Sam calls 911, reports where they are and that their friend was just killed.
And then someone's trying to kill him.
Yeah, but before she can finish the call, Knucklebones grabs her like wrist through a hole in the wall. She drops her phone, but they're able to get away.
Take off running.
They take off running. Yes. They hide in this large room that's filled with all these old garments on rails. It basically looks like a giant dry cleaner. It's like something on the rails and moving around. Bonesy enters looking for them.
Enter Bonesy.
Travis ambushes the demon by hitting him over the head with this like large pipe.
And fucks him up. He knocks him down.
But Travis gets a little too cocky here. He stands over Knucklebone and says, "Frankly, I thought this was going to be a little harder." That's when Travis goes to hit KB again. But the demon grabs Travis's arms mid-swing and says, "That's what she said."
No!
And then slices Travis across the thigh with the bayonet.
So we got witty Knucklebones,
Witty Knuckles.
spitting game from Michael Scott
Yep.
from The Office.
I'm just putting Travis throughout the early part of the movie.
Yeah.
Travis is constantly saying "that's what she said" joke. So this is turning around on him. Meanwhile, Nisa, Sam, and Adam they've made it outside. They've outside the factory. Adam's like, get in the car.
They're ready to go.
Adam's like, get in the car, and then he goes back in to look for Travis. Nisa, Sam get in the SUV, but then Nisa's like, nope, I'm going back in too.
God
so
damn
she
it.
goes back in. We cut back to KB, who now has one of Travis's hands pinned to a table, and he takes the bayonet and he starts like playing that game where you spread out your fingers and you try to like stab the knife between your fingers really fast without.
What is the name of that game?
I don't know what it's called.
It's got to have a name.
I don't know. I have
It's
no
a
idea.
it's a
Rochambeau. No, it's not Rochambeau.
that's kicking someone else in the balls.
Yeah.
It's like Russian roulette with your hand and
Yeah,
a knife in a way.
Yeah, it's the only
And
thing I
then,
can think of.
stab in between the fingers. It's fucking cool if you're a badass and
Yeah.
do it. But if you fuck up, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, but at first he starts doing the normal way in between the fingers, but then KB turns it into the opposite where he's stabbing each finger intentionally really
Starts
fast.
stabbing the shit out of his hand.
And it's so much by the time he's done, like almost all of his fingers are just
They're just
been
mangled.
severed.
It's just like
They're-
a mangled,
Yeah, they're just gone,
fleshy hand.
or like
yeah.
hanging off like a little pinch, like a little thread of skin or dangling. It's a great effect. The practical effects of this movie are really good.
They are.
I was
They
really
are.
impressed with the effects in this movie. So Knucklebones drops Travis to the floor, who tries to crawl away, but KB comes back with the chainsaw and says, "Don't worry, Travis. I'll only put the tip in." And then again,
As Travis is crawling away with his butt in the air.
butt in the air, yeah, he shoved the chainsaw right up through Travis's crotch, in the taint, killing Travis. He's dead.
I was thinking right in the old butthole.
Right in the butthole.
Right in the old butthole.
Right in the old butthole.
The old butthole.
The old. So now we go back to Nisa, who's alone in the factory. She's looking for Adam and Travis. She's back in the big room with all the hanging garments, like the dry cleaning room. And she gets grabbed and pulled into the hanging clothes by Adam right as she sees Travis's dead body hanging from one of the rails. Knucklebones walks right past the two of them, holding the machete. They try to sneak out the opposite way, but as soon as they do, they bump into Sam, who kind of and they're like, "Oh!" And this alerts Knucklebones to the location. They run off. They come to this. Eventually, it's hard to describe, but they kind of come off this railed off hole in the ground.
This part kind of bothered me
Okay.
because you have Nessa and what's his name?
Adam.
And they bump into Sam.
Yeah.
Go back the way you came.
Yeah.
Go back to Sam just ran in. Go back the way you came, right back to the truck. Like they get lost really easily, and they come to that opening like you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like they didn't go back outside; they went further in
it's
or
like,
down.
Yeah, it's
So basically, and this is one of the weird things about this movie that I don't really like is this idea, this room coming out. Because, like I said, they come to this room that has a hole in it. There's a railing around the hole, and there's steam rising up out of it, and there's chains hanging from the ceiling that go down through the hole.
dude, it made me think of T2.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And it's like, oh, must be the laundry chute, and he tells the girls to climb down. And I'm like, no way does this look like a laundry chute. And I shit you not, Aaron, I actually wrote in my notes, this looks like something you would lower Arnold Schwarzenegger down to destroy his processing chip to stop Judgment Day from happening.
It's like you gotta lower him down by a chain. You see Nessa going down, giving a thumbs up.
And she gets lower Nessie down the hole.
Scene always made me cry.
It made me cry too. I remember my parents took me to see that in the theater in like 92, I think it was when it came out. 90 or 92, I forget what year it was. It was pretty and the movie's great, one of the best movies of all time. And then we get to that movie where they're lowering Arnold down, and I start crying, and he starts giving a thumbs up. I actually left the theater because I was crying.
Wow.
At the end of Terminator 2. So
Wow. I just teared up. I just welled up.
I left the theater.
I was like, Arnold sacrificed himself. Poor John Connor. What's he gonna do?
So, anyway, they all climb down the quote unquote laundry chute, which again, there would be stairs somewhere for that thing.
It's just a hole.
It's just a hole of chains going down.
But whatever.
So, and then there's a very short scene of Ash on the phone with Nisa's mom, and the sister tells mom where Nisa went because she overheard. So that's it. So now the sheriff knows where to go. Back to Nisa, Sam, and Ash, and they find themselves in the bowels of the factory, and they're walking around. And now we just cut to this group of like 4 like druggy guys,
Total tweakers.
total tweakers, like kind of like low level criminals.
Yeah, and they're coming to they're on their way to go to the factory, and they're gonna strip it of all the copper,
Yes.
and sell it so they can get more crank.
Yeah,
to
that's
sniff
exactly what it is.
And stay there for 8 more days.
Uh-huh.
Now the makeup was a little. They just made their eyes like red underneath.
A
You know,
little
just-
red, little
just
baggy.
little red, little baggy. But
I don't think one of the girls was a twinker because she turns down the drugs later.
well,
But anyway, we have
all
two
look like,
girls. We have Star and Melly, and then we have Bobby and Andy, the 2 guys.
and their names do not matter.
They don't. All that matters is Melly is the super hot girl with, again, giant tits and a great
giant
body.
fake tits. Yeah.
They're amazing. So this group enters a factory. They end up in some random room where Andy pulls a Scarface and just slams his face
He just
into a
slams
pile,
of
coke.
meth.
It's like, I thought it was coke.
No,
but,
well, you can sniff meth too.
all right, but it's a pile of drugs. And
Yeah.
he just
just
Scarfaces
just
it up.
slams his face to it, and he's like, "Ah!" He just gets all jacked up from it.
And then he starts his copper stealing work. He offers some to Star, but she says, no, I would rather be horribly murdered than do your drugs or whatever. And then she
I
walks
thought he was
up.
like talking about sex. I
Was
thought he
it?
was propositioning her for sex.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood that. Maybe
and
it was
she's like,
sex.
I don't want to fuck you. I'll do your drugs, but I don't want to have sex with you.
Maybe
that
that's what-
was my thought.
Okay, I could be wrong. Maybe you're right. Either way, she says I'd rather be horribly murdered and do whatever, and then she walks off by herself to find some place to pee. At this point, Melly also flashes her giant tits at her man and Bobby. Now we go to Star wandering around looking for a place to pee. She eventually just pops a squat in some random room. While she's peeing, it's weird. She picks up a beer bottle that was left behind by the other group.
She
and just
finds
starts
a beer
drinking.
bottle left over by the other group, takes a whiff, and it's like, oh, sweet.
And she starts
Like-
drinking it. And like, what? Like, all right,
That's
whatever.
some proper trash right there.
Yeah.
It's some proper Texas road trash.
But she also finds like blood on the floor. That's when old Knucklebones shows up behind Star saying, "Tinkle, tinkle, little star." At first, Star thinks it's Andy, but soon realizes that it's not. She tries to run, but slips in the small pool of blood. This causes her to fall into a pipe that impales her through her throat, killing her.
Boo. Worst kill in the movie.
Yeah, but I agree, but it's still the effect.
The effect's great.
It's still
The-
fine.
The
but
the
lame
effect
kill.
is fine, but there's no way on God's green earth you could trip, fall onto a rounded pipe, and have it go plunging all the way through the back of your neck and out the front. No way. Unless that was the most razor sharp pipe on planet Earth. Like, we're talking Wolverine adamantium sharp.
I don't know. I think it could. It's
No.
plausible.
No.
With enough momentum or force, I think you could. I mean, your throat's soft. It's
From
so-
the back through the bones, all that cartilage, all that muscle, and she's like, what, 115 pounds?
Yeah, maybe.
No way. Maybe if you're like a sumo wrestler falling through down, you're getting inertia behind it.
All right.
No way.
Either way, I
boo.
agree it's the worst kill in the movie, but the effects were still good.
The effect was good.
All right. Meanwhile, Andy's working on his copper pipes with a blowtorch, while Melly and Bobby, they're fucking behind him on a table. And again,
And they are fucking on a table.
They are proper fucking. Again, this girl's body is goddamn great. Andy seems oblivious to this fucking because
Yeah.
I guess he has headphones on or something because he's just working. They're just plowing behind him.
I don't know why he's trying to weld off a piece of the pipe.
Yeah.
And that can't be that loud. You're gonna hear,
And the
yeah.
you're gonna hear that.
Easy, Marcia, get me hard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Calm it down there, buddy.
But I agree. Like, he has long hair and skaggs, so like maybe he had headphones in. But I agree. Like, just the torch. Like, he should hear this.
Yeah.
Even with headphones. He's
Either that
only
or
like
who-
15 feet.
Who knows?
behind
It
him.
could be old hat. You know,
it could be. There's like, oh,
it could
got
be
it
like-
again.
they're
Whatever.
just fucking again. Whatever.
That's one way to look at it. But I mean, they're only like 15, 20 feet behind
Yeah.
him at most.
Because they keep showing that shot
Yeah.
of him welding and then banging in the background.
Yeah. So the girl's on top riding Bobby.
Looking great.
Look amazing. Kate, again, going Knucklebones, he shows up and grabs this tree pruner that Bobby had brought in with him. And basically, at this point, it's just a fucking spear.
Essentially.
It's a giant
It's like
spear.
a naginata from
Yeah, it
feudal
really is.
Japan.
The old naginata. Or naginta.
Ooh.
Uh, So he takes the like I said, it's just a spear, and he times it right. So like as she's like bouncing up and down him, he times it perfectly like that. When she's on like the up bounce, he shoves the pruner, the spear, underneath her and above him. So he like slices off Bobby's dick in half, and then like she comes down vag first on the blade of this pruner, and she's screaming. And then of course he rips the pruner up, saws through her chest, splits her in half,
completely cuts her in half,
like a Kung Lao Mortal Kombat fatality.
Nice reference.
And her body just falls in half.
Falls
off the
in
table.
half.
Bobby basically just dies.
Sprayed with blood.
Yeah, he's covered in blood. He dies of
decapitation.
Decapitation, dead. She's dead. But of course, Andy hears none of this.
While they're screaming bloody murder.
Yeah, still hears nothing. KB walks up behind Andy, and now I guess he either somehow has some kind of like ESP, but he
now he hears something.
He senses
now
it.
Something's
or something
going
because
on.
He turns around as KB's about to get him, and he tries to fend off Knucklebones with the blowtorch, but he's quickly overpowered, and Knucklebones turns the torch back on Andy and basically burns and melts his eyes and his face off.
Not a bad effect.
Not a bad effect. Again, for this movie, it's low budget. It's great effect. Pretty brutal kill. So all four of them, they're dead. They did not last long.
Pure fodder.
Pure fodder.
That's all they were.
But you know what? I loved it.
Me too.
I loved it.
You got some titties. You got some sex.
You got some great kills.
Yeah.
I loved it.
That was all right.
So we go back to Nisa, Sam, and Adam, who are now in some sort of filthy like underground house. So yeah, there's like an actual house like underneath this garment factory. Like there's a full-on kitchen with cabinets and a fridge and a stove. I mean, it's filthy and disgusting, but it's like an actual house down
Think of
here.
it like the break room, maybe. It's a stretch, but
It is a stretch.
Let's call it the break room.
Anyway, it's clearly it's like underground. Like a break room would be. It's weird. Anyway, this is where they encounter Choctaw Bill.
Choctaw Bill,
who turns out to be the grown-up version of the kid Billy we saw during the 1970s flashback.
Why is he there, you ask?
Well, Bill tells him his backstory about his mom's death and that the slaughter that happened here, along with telling him that there's a banishment ritual that can get rid of Knucklebones.
Yeah, because they run into him and they're like, "We set loose a demon." And he's like, "Oh, dang. Shucks, not Knucklebones."
Oh,
like, he knows. And I'm like, okay, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then he goes into the backstory.
Well, okay, yeah, let's go with that. So the banishment ritual is basically the opposite. Like instead of getting all the dice in the center of the pentagram, each die has to land in separate sections of the pentagram outside of the center one. So all like the points of the star.
All the points of the star.
Yeah.
So he tells the backstory about how he was being chased by Knucklebones back in 1976.
Yes.
Squirmed away.
Yep.
Happened to be Knucklebones is on his tail. He grabs the dice. It's a 1 in a million toss.
Yep.
He happened to get all 5, and Knucklebones disappeared.
Yep.
Woo!
And that's when the men in the black suits showed up and took him away. And he goes on to say that he eventually just moved into the factory.
Because he's so obsessed with this. He wants to find out more information. He said he's been coming here.
And eventually he dice. He try to find the dice.
And he just eventually just
moved in.
Stayed. Yeah.
So, and he also goes on a rant about how he thinks the military want to use Knucklebones as a super weapon, basically an unstoppable supernatural weapon to be unleashed upon the enemy.
Supernatural warfare.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, supernatural warfare. At first I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous, but I was like, I'm at the time I'm like, I'm all in with this movie. I'm on board with it.
There is historical documentation of,
well, especially with the Nazis, yeah. But maybe U.S. government, maybe not, but definitely with the Nazis there was. But at the same time, like, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? I'm on board. I'm in on this one.
But it works because it borrows from the actual historical evidence from the 1940 Nazi group.
Experiments and all that.
I think they even had a name. I don't.
The paranormal.
I thought it was called Black Dragon. I could be wrong, but I think
they
that's
had
the
actual
division.
Paranormal division of Nazi.
They did. And I want to say it was called Black Dragon. I could be wrong. If anybody knows, please let me know if I'm right or wrong.
That's the one thing about the Nazis. One thing I found fascinating about them was like their interest in the occult and like
they went deep, man,
and supernatural.
Yeah, they
stuff.
went deep. That's why Hellboy works.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
All right, I'm getting off topic.
So anyway, Adam's like, hey, no, we just need to make a run for it. We need to get out. And Bill's like, tells them that they wouldn't even make it to the main road because Knucklebones is as fast as he wants to be. That the only reason they're not all dead already is because he likes to fuck with his prey. Basically,
he feeds on fear.
Feeds on their fear. And again, I'm behind that because he's a demon. He can't be as fast as he wants to be.
Right.
So I will say there's not a whole lot of like, I want to say holes in the script or logic here. I mean, we're dealing with supernatural, so it's kind of sci-fi, and you kind of make it up, and you can't really fault it. But
they do a good job of explaining.
Yeah, that's exactly.
They're not just pulling things out of their ass.
Yes. So Nisa comes up with the idea to have two of them create a distraction while the other two go get the dice and start rolling for their lives.
1 in a million shots.
Nessa and Adam are the distraction crew, leaving Sam and Bill to go get the dice. And during this whole scene, I guess I love some of Billy's lines. One of his lines is, "I'm the one fucking this bull. You guys are just holding the horns." And then right before they all break up, he says, "Time to paint your butts white and run with the antelope." Which I don't know. I like Choctaw Bill's lines.
Choctaw Bill's all right.
So the two groups split up. Adam and Nisa head outside to the SUV, started up. Bill and Sam find the dice, but Sam, now she's too scared to walk out from behind her hiding spot to get them. So Bill's like, "Fine, you stay here. I'll go get them." Outside, Knucklebone shows up at the car to check out the SUV, but no one's inside. They just turned it on, rubbed it up, and they got out. They're off hiding somewhere watching Knucklebones. While inside, Bill grabs the dice and he starts rolling them bones. But as soon as he rolls the dice and starts saying Knucklebones, Knucklebones, Knucklebones senses
it. He's like, oh shit.
That someone's trying to banish him, and he rushes off to put a stop to that shit. So KB pops up in front of Bill, just poof, saying, "It looks like you've used up all your luck, little Billy." Billy continues to try to frantically roll those dice. He's trying to, but KB just runs at Bill with the axe in hand, and in one downward swing splits Bill's head in half, which is a great looking effect too. It's awesome. Sam screams, runs away. Knucklebone scoops up the bone dice and crushes them into dust in his hand.
Into dust. Oh shit, we're out of dice.
Yeah, now you're fucked. And then he goes after Sam.
Proper fucked.
I like that. So we cut to Adam and Nisa, who are now back inside the factory. They hear Sam scream. Adam restrains Nisa from running off to look for Sam. But that's when he just gets impaled through the chest from behind with a machete.
No, don't go.
Uh-oh.
Should have listened to Nisa there, buddy.
So KB backs Nisa up against the wall, but instead of killing her right away, he leans in and tells her that the two of them are going to have a lot of fun together. And that's when Sam comes running over behind KB with a pipe, hits him in the back, but KB just easily turns around, grabs Sam,
slams her against the wall,
and impales her through the stomach with the same pipe, pinning her to the wall. Nisa screams, runs off. So now we start.
We're just down to Nisa now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Knucklebones has been running ruckshaw through motherfuckers.
Now it's kind of the cat and mouse chase of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Run, hide, between Nisa and Knucklebones. Once again, Nisa makes it outside, and right as she runs out the factory, there's Sheriff Anderson. She's like, "Get down!" Nisa drops. Anderson blasts Knucklebones in the chest with a shotgun.
Good on the stuntman too. He's in dead sprint, and then as soon as that shot hits him, he just throws his feet out from underneath him, and boom!
Yeah, hits the ground
like
hard.
a champ.
He drops motionless. Knucklebones is not moving. He seems dead. Anderson gets Nisa into his vehicle, but of course he has to go check on Knucklebones, despite Nisa begging and pleading with him not to. Mm-hmm. She glances away for a second, I guess, like looking at the glove box. I'm guessing maybe she's looking for a gun.
Because he locked her in there, and it's a police officer's car, so I'm guessing she can't get out. I guess that makes sense.
Well, it's in the front seat, not the back seat.
Yeah, I thought that too, but I was like, I'm going to...
I just thought she was looking for a gun. Like,
yeah,
maybe
she's looking through the glove box, she's looking, and then she looks back up, and they're all gone.
Both of them are gone. Nowhere to be seen. And then, of course, suddenly Anderson's bloody hand comes up, smacks against the car window.
Jump scare.
Nisa exits the vehicle and sees Anderson's dead, bloody body on the ground. Knucklebone shows up saying, "Never bring a gun to a knife fight," and chases Nisa back inside the factory.
I like that line.
Nisa heads all the way back to the lower area, like down the chain laundry chute,
Back that laundry chute.
back to the Terminator area, whatever you want to call it, where she cries for a moment, and seeing that she's kind of like, okay, there's no way out. This is awful.
Fucked.
I'm done. She pulls out those bottle pills from her pocket and swallows the entire bottle and just basically lays down to accept death.
She's taking the easy way out.
And then her cell phone rings. She answers it, and on the other end is Knucklebones calling her a spoiled little girl, and that if she won't play with him, then he will go play with her mother and sister, basically the gist of it. And then the chains she used to climb down just drop down the hole. So she's trapped in this lower basement area now. We cut to Nisa's house. Her little sister's getting ready for bed. She gets in bed, and we see Knucklebones standing outside the house.
Bomb-ass house, by the way.
It's a really nice house. Yeah.
Nice exposed brick. It was good.
I like Sam's house, too, we see later. It's a nice one. So the sister's in bed. She starts hearing noises. KB pops up from under the bed, but the sister somehow is ready for this.
Her spider sense was tingling, and she channeled her inner Hawkeye.
I was like Hawkeye, Green Arrow. She just shoots Knucklebones in the chest with a fucking arrow.
And she's got a bow and arrow, fucking point blank, boom, right to his chest.
And she says, "Gotcha," and then runs away. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I did have to call bullshit on this, because what 12-year-old girl is going to act this cool when encountering a fucking demon who wants to kill her? And she's like, "Gotcha!" with a smile on her face, and then runs away like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, that was a little cheesy, but I'm with it. I'm okay. The ride's been good so far.
I mean, overall, when I first I'm like, come on. When you step back and look at, like, no way that fucking happened. But I agree with you. At this point, I'm all in this movie. I'm fine with it for the most part, but there's a part of me that's like, yeah, that's a bit of a stretch. That's the one that's a bit of a stretch for me. So, anyway, the mother's asleep on the couch this whole time.
It's funny because she's watching Night of the Living Dead, which is public domain.
It's the most commonly used in every horror movie. Like, what movie do you want? Oh, Night of the Living Dead.
And you can tell, it's funny because they show a bottle of wine, so she's fucking out.
Oh, she's out cold. Which is weird because, like, if you're panicking over your suicidal daughter missing and gone, why would you just drink yourself to sleep?
Well, maybe she's trying to take the edge off, drinking some wine. Mommy's also got a problem with Xanax, so she mixed a little bit of the benzos with the booze, and she's out fucking cold for the night. Not even Knucklebones killing her other daughter is going to wake her up.
So
it's better than Ambien.
We go back to Nisa, who's in a panic, and she finds the garden shears on the ground, which I do have a problem with this again, because the last time we saw the garden shears, they were upstairs in that room. They didn't bring them down the laundry chute with them. So how the laundry shears get down here is just complete magic. Like, they should not have been down in this room at all. They didn't carry weapons with them the entire movie after they broke through that wall.
Fuck.
That's the biggest loophole.
I might have to watch it again. And
That's the biggest plot hole of this movie.
Because they've done such a great job of explaining everything.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But the entire movie, once they broke through that wall and got
I didn't even notice it.
Now, nobody had a single weapon. The only weapon that was ever carried was the druggie who brought in the tree pruner. After that, our main cast weaponless the entire time. And when they go down those chains, they had nothing in their hands. So this is the biggest plot hole loop in the movie.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
It is. It really was.
I feel like I should watch it again. I've only seen it once. I
watched it twice. I watched it twice.
Man.
But anyway, they're magically down there, and Nessa uses him to cut off her own left hand.
Okay, stop. You went way too fast over that part.
All right, sorry.
you just went way too fast over that part. She just cut off her hand. Whoa.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I was come back to it.
Okay.
But like, yeah, she fucking cuts off her own hand with these garden shears. And it's brutal. She's like, chop, 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 chop.
But it's so good because you can tell she's desperation.
Yeah.
She's got to save her family.
Oh, yeah.
She can't escape. And you can tell, like, she's doing a pretty decent job acting where she's looking at the shears and is like, yep. I'm going to cut off my hand, make bones, and fucking get Knucklebones that way.
I was about to have another problem with this, just logic-wise, but then I was like, unlike the garden shears, they actually passed the test on this one when I thought about it. Because, like, you know what? I'll come back to this. Let me finish it and I'll come back to what I'm talking about. So
Yeah, she is chopping
Yeah,
the shit out of it,
hand.
and
Yeah.
it looks great.
So she cuts off her left hand, and then she
Sells it too.
really sells it. Cauterizes the wound against like a burning hot furnace, which I don't think should even be on in the first place.
They did mention someone did turn on a furnace earlier. They said it's
They
so
said it was
hot.
hot down here.
They said
Well, you know
someone
what? I
turned
take
on
it
the
back.
furnace.
I'll take it back because I don't think the generator would have done it, but I didn't think about it. But with Choctaw Bill living down there, he could be running the furnace.
Yes.
So, all right, that to me, that takes care of the furnace question.
Perfect.
So she cauterizes the wound on the furnace. Back at the house, KB Knucklebones continues to look for the sister who's hiding. And it also turns out that apparently this factory has like a giant wood burning oven or crematorium in it too for some reason, which is just weird.
That's a little weird.
Don't know why that's there. But Nisa cremates her severed hand and then uses tongs to pull out the now skeletal hand, which is just bone.
So all the flesh has been melted off,
Flesh,
burned
tissue,
away.
sinews, all gone.
Nothing but a skeletal hand remains.
She smashes the bones apart to make dice from her knuckle bones.
She grabs the knuckle bones.
And before that, she used before she burnt her hand, she used the bloody stomp of her severed hand to draw out the pentagram on the floor.
Fucking baller.
Yeah. Now before I go on, like, so she made new dice from her own hand, which baller, cool move, like awesome. But I was about to have a big problem with this because, like, okay, there's like 8 dead bodies. Like, just cut off a hand from a dead body. Like, why are you fucking cutting your own hand off?
What are you doing there, sister?
Like, there's so many hands lying around.
Plenty of hands to choose from.
But then I read the one thing that made me not get too careful with that is like, okay, she's supposed to be trapped in the lower area, and nobody died in that lower area. Everybody died up above, and then the chains were dropped, so she was not able to.
She
get
was
up there.
separated from all the extra hands.
Yeah,
that were plentifully available up
but
there.
that's kind of doesn't matter either because shortly she ends up climbing up out of there one-handed anyway without the chains. So
yeah. Anyway, go on.
So that's another problem. That's no problem. And she could have just climbed out of that hole, gotten a dead person, cut off their hand. Would have gone a lot quicker if she had 2 hands. But anyway, it's still a really cool scene. I'll give it that. It's really cool. It's done really well.
And she starts rolling the bones.
Yeah, and she starts rolling the dice, but she has no luck, and she gives up after one roll. She's like, "Fuck, this is impossible."
But this also alerts Knucklebones, who's about to get her little sister. He senses the bones rolling, and he gets again. Goes, "Oh shit!"
Basically, he's like, and he's like, it's a cool like that first person like Evil Dead, like you know what they did with
Prom Night 3.
Prom Night 3 did, yeah, exactly. They did Prom Night 3 too. With him like zipping through the factory again.
Yeah. And he never says "oh shit," but
no, he does.
The reaction's
he does
just about right.
Yeah. But now that's just again perfect coincidence. Why this would be in the garment factory, I don't know. But she finds an large old Lone Star beer sign that just perfectly happens to be leaning up against the wall in the very room she's in. Again, in a garment factory, don't know why that'd be there. She rips the star off the sign.
The star is juxtaposed out. It's not like a flat sign. So
no,
it's like
it's
3-dimensional.
Yeah, it's something.
And she tears it off.
And she lines it up with the pentagram perfectly. Then she finds an old funnel, really large funnel, turns it upside down, puts it in the middle section, says her chant, drops the dice on the funnel,
so
which causes
all she can really hit are the way it just perfectly goes into all 5 sections.
Yeah,
and I fucking love that.
I
part.
did too. I'm like, that's again
ingenious.
It's great writing. Like that's like MacGyvering some shit right there. Loved it. And as soon as the dice land in each point of the pentagram bursts into flames, and we see Knucklebones running, and he bursts into flames too, screaming, and he just kind of vanishes from sight.
One thing I also liked, it wasn't like he was about to get her.
No, he was still like a little bit away.
Which I was okay. I was very happy with.
Yeah, he wasn't like
right about to grab her.
I'm about to get you.
Yeah. Oh no! It's like okay, he just died in pursuit.
Was he Louis Armstrong there?
Jeepers creepers! I see skies of blue.
I sang that at karaoke once. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
God, that was horrible.
I think that was at the black bar too.
Yes, it was.
Um,
I was the only white. We were the only
really
white guys
white
there.
Yes, we were.
I got a very odd applause.
Yeah. But it's a nice little cigar bar, so shout out the Cigar Inn in Belleville, Illinois. So I did get a standing ovation by my Ted for Wu-Tang's Triumph at one night there too.
You've done that several times.
I only did it once.
Well,
I did it once. It was
one standing ovation.
yeah. I did. Two guys were like, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We won't go into that. So anyway, Knucklebones is banned. She's disappeared. Nisa now somehow again like I said earlier, she somehow manages to climb out of this laundry chute one-handed. Gets up out of the hole, makes herself vomit. Throwing up all the pills.
Throws up all the pills.
So again, that loose end's wrapped up. Now she finds her.
In hindsight, again, they explained it. She threw him up. Okay, but with all that adrenaline pumping and everything, like those pills would be boiling away in her stomach. She would have been feeling the effects of that. I wish she just would have sold it a little bit. Like she's getting woozy from all the pills she was taking. Kind of like
which also
maybe
then would have made it really hard to climb out of that hole one hand.
blurred vision while she's dropping the bones. Kind of like this is her last chance.
Or she could have thrown out the pills before she climbed up the hole.
But still, I don't mind. She still threw them up.
That would have made sense too. Like throw up before you climb out of the hole, because at that point, every second counts.
Or when you decide you're gonna, go for it and cut your fucking arm off.
Yeah.
Throw the pills up first, honey. Regardless, though, nitpicking.
Yeah. So she finds a cell phone, but before she can dial it, she hears Sam calling for help. So she goes off. She finds that Sam's still alive.
Sam's alive.
She's still pinned to the wall with
God
the pipe
bless
sticking
those
out
boobies.
of her. Nisa pulls the pipe out, freeing Sam.
See, Knucklebones didn't want to go through the chest.
No, those tits are too perfect.
Did not want to ruin.
No, cannot ruin those boobies. Blackout. Now we cut to Sam's house, which is also a really cool house, like whitewashed brick, two-story. It's a really cool house. Now Sam's wearing like these cute booty shorts and a short white tank top that exposes her stomach.
Dude, she's built like a Barbie doll.
She is. Her body is
ridiculous.
Redonkulous.
Like, it
has a tight stomach, a tight ass. It's insane.
Totally not reality.
No,
I don't know how this happened.
Like I don't know how.
1 in a million.
Yeah, it's
like the way her waist goes, like the giant.
Well,
boobs,
she's not completely like.
And then this itty bitty waist.
It's not that skinny. It's not that body, but it's like a perfectly tight.
It's a
stomach.
tiny waist.
It's really nice.
And then her butt is great.
But great legs too.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's unreal.
How did? Very much so.
So
I feel bad for any women who are like, I need to look like that. There's no way in hell.
Impossible. This is like, this is a superior genetics at this point. I don't know. She's checking herself out in the mirror and she's rubbing her hands over a spot and she's like, "Ow."
Where she was
supposed to be pale. But again, the movie either fucked up or they got lazy here because there's zero scars or marks from being impaled to this torso with a pipe.
I don't care.
I know this movie's been so good about so many things already, but that just kills me. It's like I know so many things so good, but then you have that one thing to bring it down. It's like
put a bandage there.
Put a bandage, big square piece of gauze or something. This girl would have been in the hospital with a fucking pipe through her. There'd be marks. I mean, yeah, her body's amazing, but still, let's have a little bit of reality here.
Right.
So, I was disappointed in that. I was really disappointed in that. But like I said, her body looks fucking great.
It obstructed the view, Marshall.
It would obstruct the view. So she hears a noise coming from downstairs. She goes to check it out. She does arm herself with a broom, by the way. Out pops Ryan, Nisa's ex-fiance, who
from the beginning of the movie,
he dumped her at the carnival. And he tells Sam that he's been missing her and he's worried that she wasn't answering her phone. Sam mentions, she's like, "Oh, I lost my phone." But then she's like, "Hey, I'm not comfortable with this anymore because Nisa's my best friend, and she tried to kill herself after you dumped her, and that she would never want to hurt Nisa." But then Ryan's like, "You say that, but you were having sex with your best friend's boyfriend for 6 months behind her back," and she's like, "Oh yeah, okay." So then they start making out on the couch. Then Ryan's like, "Oh, ow, I got a cramp. It hurt." So they stop. He's like, "Oh, God, it so hurts." He stands up and bam, his leg snaps in half.
Uh-oh.
followed by his arm again.
We've seen this before.
See, third time now. Sam's freaking out, saying like, "Oh no, not again!" As Ryan rips his own head off as Knucklebones comes out of Ryan's body. Neck stump. Outside, we see Nessa holding Sam's phone, and she yells out, "Hey Sam, I found your phone!" And on the phone, we see all these text messages between
back
Sam and
forth.
Ryan. Nisa bends down, picks up the bone dice from the chalk pentagrams that she's drawn on the lawn. Sam screams out, I'm sorry, and like begs for help and stuff. But Nisa just turns, walks away as we hear KB say, Go Knucklebone says, "Hey Nisa, I told you we were going to have a lot of fun together." Inside, we go back inside where Knucklebones grabs the broom as Sam tries to scramble over the back of the couch.
Ass in the air.
Ass up. She's basically bent over like she's about to get fucked doggy style. And Knucklebones just impales her with the broomstick, shoving it up through her vag and out her mouth, killing her. Blackout. Roll credits.
That's
Knucklebones. And
what a ride.
What a ride. It just, yeah, what a fun little ride that was. So let's move on to favorite kills.
Don't act like you didn't love it. Favorite kill.
All right. A lot of great kills in this movie.
Fantastic kills.
Again, and the graphic, the practical effects were great on like
great.
all of them.
They had, you could tell they blended a little bit of computer graphics with some of the blood, but it was done well.
It was done really well.
It didn't take you out of it.
No.
It was a great combination of practical plus digital.
Yes, I agree. So what was your favorite kill of the movie?
There's a lot to choose from.
There's a lot of good kills in this one.
But I think I'm going to have to go with the pruning shear sex bounce romp. It's a double kill.
Yeah.
I personally thought he shoved it into the guy's ass while she was on top of him and just went up from that, cutting her in half. Either way, it's still perfect. Just the way she got cut from,
vag to
from
top
taint
of the head.
to top.
Yeah,
it was done well. There was a lot of fear in that, a lot of screaming, blood everywhere, but like not too over the top. It was very well done. I was, great kill.
I agree. Same with that's my favorite kill too.
Yeah.
Again, 2 for 1. Everything you said. That the effect on her body split in half is great. My second runner up is Sam at the end. That was another good one. But yeah, the kills in this are great. They're all really good, solid kills. But that girl getting ripped in half is just so well done. The camera work on it's great. Even Choctaw Bill's head splitting open is a great effect.
I guess my second would be the beginning when they killed all the Nazis. I was into that. I'm like, get him! There wasn't any one particular where I was like, whoa!
Yeah,
I was just like,
killing Nazis.
Yeah, he's just laying waste at Nazis. And I'm like, that's awesome.
All right, so there we go. We both had the same favorite kill this week. With that said, let's move on to odds and ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
All right, ratings. IMDb gives it a 3.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, there is no official thermometer score, but it only has a 22% audience score.
It seems low.
And I thought so too. Amazon, 2.8 out of 5.
Huh.
Yeah. Plot keywords, there were only 10. The only ones I wrote down were topless and amputation. Everything else is pretty boring. Even those aren't even that great, but there weren't a whole lot for this movie.
Topless and amputation.
Topless amputation.
That's pretty weak words.
Yeah, they're really, like I said, not a whole lot this week for that.
Bones.
Yeah, bones, dice, boobs. I mean,
well, they had topless,
but yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could throw in here: axe, head splitting, murder,
lingerie,
chainsaw.
superstar football player,
legend.
Pardon me, legend. You're right. I should know my place. Legend.
Know your place. Moving on to trivia. Actually, I couldn't find any trivia for this movie. It's new. I mean, I guess it's still not that popular yet, or not that view. I don't know. It's not. I couldn't find.
Yeah, it hasn't even. It may not even been out for a year yet.
Yeah, I mean, so. But on the opposite end, we do get to play the budget game this week.
Sweet.
Time for Aaron to blow his wad with the budget game.
All right, so Aaron, what is your guess for the budget of the 2016 Knucklebones?
They had a location. It was big. And they had other locations as well. They even had a hospital, that they used.
Yeah.
They had good effects. The
Mhm.
effects were well done. Again, we talked about combination of practical and digital. And those boobies don't come cheap because they had some really good-looking chicks in this
They
movie.
really did.
They had some really good-looking chicks. Also, people with a resume. We've already kind of gone through some of our actors and actresses, and they've done work before.
Work, nothing huge, but yeah, their experience, they've done work.
So
Yeah.
they expect to at least get some money. With all that being said, I think it was pretty well done. I'm going to go with 150. Fuck. This is tough. This is tough because we've done so many low-budget ones,
Mhm.
and this just did feel like it was just a good, clear step up as far as, the writing, the everything on
Yeah.
all levels. I'm going to go 300,000.
300,000. Well, you blew your load on this one.
Well, okay.
You
okay.
actually should have stuck with your first gut. Actual
is
budget,
150?
$150,000.
God damn it.
I was like, oh, he's gonna get it, and then you changed it. You changed it.
I started talking myself too much. Still,
150,000 estimated budget for this movie.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Still a lot of money, but nothing. But for a lot, still pretty awesome. Still considered low budget, but
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
still for us normal folk, that's a lot of money. So there you go. That's 150,000. Let's move on to 5-star reviews.
These special movies have a place in these special people's hearts. 5-star reviews.
All right. Since we didn't have any trivia, I wrote down 5-star and 1-star reviews because this movie had 110 total reviews. So it was a
Wow.
lot.
That is
And
a lot.
it was so almost even straight down from 5 through 1.
Either you loved it or hated it.
Well, no, there's people 5-star. There are 21% 5-star, 26% 1-star, and then 4, 3, and 2 are 16, 19.
So it's
50.
all over the place.
It's all over the place. Real
Huh.
balanced. So first 5-star from Bob Jr. Stevenson. Screenplay, well written. Bravo. The overall production of this film. Bravo to the overall production of this film. I rarely say this, but I hopeful of a sequel. 5 stars. From Carrie Holland. The only good actor is the mother of the girl. That's all I have to say. Amazing movie, though. I really enjoy the artistry and emotional message it presents. I don't really know what emotional message
I
this
really
movie
didn't
sends.
get don't cheat on your best friend
Friends-
with their boyfriend.
Yeah, don't
I didn't get an emotional message.
kill
that much.
Nazis. I
Yeah.
don't know. I thought the same thing. That's why I wrote that one down. I was like, I don't get the emotional message, but hey, 5 stars. From Links is Z, great movie. If you like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, you should like this one. Which I don't really compare it to those at all. The only reason I would compare it to Nightmare on Elm Street is because it's a supernatural guy
and he's
who-
cracking
wise.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's really anything like a Friday the 13th movie.
No,
at
it's
all.
it's very much its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that. James Longmire writes, a thoroughly awesome movie, an absolute must for all horror fans, especially those of us who appreciate great practical effects, hot chicks, and some great cheesy one-liners. Knucklebones put me in mind of Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, mixed in with Ouija and all those brilliant B movies with Jeffrey Combs in them. The girls were hot, the guys suitably coolest, the deaths imaginative and gory, and Knucklebones wisecracks his way through the movie like a demonic Eddie Murphy. I'd wholeheartedly recommend this movie for a perfect night in with a few beers and a bucket of popcorn. 5 stars.
Well said.
Well, I agree. All right, and let's go over 1-star reviews. There's 1, 2, 3, I think 4 or 5 of those. Knock these out of the way. From Pando, just so we can see the opposite side of the coin. Exactly 9 minutes, 25 seconds. That's how long I lasted until I had to cut and run. Considering about 6 minutes of that time consisted of setup to the present day, I couldn't make it past the first scene at the carnival. I thought certainly the acting couldn't have gotten any worse than the female with the funnel cake. Then her fiance opened his mouth. 1 star. I will agree. Ryan's acting, he was the worst in this whole movie.
and
He was a bad.
I have to say something. I mean, the movie did seem kind of stiff with the acting, but I gotta admit, it got better as it went.
Yeah, I mean, the acting
from all the actors.
Yeah, the acting's not great, but at the same time, it's just one of those weird situations where even though it's not great acting, it didn't really stand out that much. It wasn't that much of a problem for me with this movie as it is with so many other ones. I think part of it's because the script isn't bad. The the writing's decent.
And you got some good eye candy.
And great eye candy. Practical effects are good. The movie looks good. It's not too dark. It's the quality's there. So even though the acting, there's something to be desired. Could have been better. It didn't take away from the movie too much.
Right.
It didn't take me out of it. From London Chick, LMAO. What a hilariously terrible joke of a movie. It's funny because of the pitiful delivery of this presentation due to the utter lack of effort put into this production. 1 star.
Totally disagree.
Totally disagree with that too. Yeah. But for so I don't forget, I would say the people who are writing these 1-star reviews, let's just say they are very lucky people that they have not sat through the utter sewage of stuff that we have sat through. Because if they would have seen some of the stuff we have, they would not. I don't think they'd be writing this shitty about this movie.
They'd be standing up and applauding.
Yes. So R.S. Bagala writes, whomever had anything to do with this movie should be hunted down and shot. Totally disagree with that again. From Marita Granvoy, I don't know. This movie had potential. As others have known, the production values are high and the mythology could have worked in the hands of a better director and scriptwriter. The movie's just not scary. The wisecracking paranormal serial killer has been done to death, but the worst thing about this film is how obvious it is that everyone responsible for putting this crap on the screen has seriously fucked up attitude towards women. Women in this film are routinely murdered for being sexual, and they are murdered in disgustingly sexually violent ways. Gee, movie, tell me what you really think about women. Even if the stupid murdering demon had been coherent, it's impossible to understand a word he says or scary. The outright misogyny here left an awful taste in my mouth. Give it a pass, unless you're into that sort of thing. 1 star. And this girl is gotta get off her highest horse. It's a horror movie.
I totally agree with you. I could maybe it's tough because there's only one sexual murder, and that's at the very end when Sam gets it through the beehole.
Yeah.
And okay.
Well, the two people having
the
sex.
2 people having sex.
But they're not.
And
but it's not
the opening woman who is naked and gets killed.
But it's not sexual. The opening scene is supposed to be like an occult druid ritual. So a lot of that stuff, hedonistic, what's the word? The P, paganism.
Yeah.
Was a lot of nature, not naked in a lot of that. So that's not
with
sexual.
you. I'm with you. But then I'm going with that. But then on the other side of the coin, you also had Travis. He got it in the ass. He said, "I'm just going to put in the tip."
Yeah.
He got sexually murdered as well.
Yes, he did.
And the people who were having sex, they both he got his dick cut off.
Yep.
So there's plenty to go around.
Yeah.
I don't think you can
This is
pinpoint
probably
him on
just
one.
some angry, bitchy feminist or somebody who had said something wrong to her that day, had a bad day, and was like, "Fuck men" or blah blah blah, or just she got dumped by her. Who knows what state of mind she's in when she wrote that? But
I think it was equal opportunity.
yeah, I agree. It's not that bad. I don't know. I disagree. And the last one from Lawrence Chan. The content of this flick is seriously offensive, as are the characters, who in addition are seriously retarded, as they are insensitive to say the least. It is so reprehensible, it defies comprehension. On a lighter side, this is like a nightmare episode of The Big Bang Theory. Figure that one out for yourselves. It's like when Sheldon Cooper laments about his career being over and groaning about teaching evolution to a bunch of creationists. The proof of Sheldon's lament is supported by the stupidity of the characters in this flick. I couldn't even get through half of it. 1 star.
What?
Yeah, exactly. What? And the people who say they couldn't get through the whole movie, don't jump to conclusions, man. There's
If
some
you can't
movies,
make it to the whole movie, fuck you for writing a 1 star.
yeah,
And if you're gonna really
if you don't
give
like
it,
it, don't
1
like.
star,
But don't judge a whole movie if you only watch the first 10 minutes of it, because that's barely. Yeah, every movie has a setup. One was like, "Oh, I couldn't sit through the first 6 minutes," which was setup. Almost every single movie is like that. Almost the first 20 minutes is setup a lot of the time.
I give a movie usually about a half hour, and very rarely do I turn off a movie. But it's like after a half hour, if you don't have me by after a half hour, 45 minutes, that's when I'm like, all right, I'm just done.
I kind of agree, but even then, I was like, if I'm invested in it, I'm gonna finish it.
Yeah,
let's just
I'm
see where it
usually
goes.
I'm almost always going to finish it. Very rarely do I turn off. And the same with like a series. Like I'll give this for example, I tried to watch.
Give at least 3-4 episodes.
Exactly, you got to go 3 or 4 episodes because they're creating. You
gotta get to know the characters.
Yeah.
You gotta get to know the situation. You
creating
gotta
the
know
world,
what's
yeah.
going on. Yeah, I agree. So so there's two sides of the coin. So with that said, let's go into our final thoughts. It's probably pretty obvious where we're going with this week's movie, but Aaron, make it official. Take us away.
So bad it's good. I think it's good. We've been kind of like on the Knucklebones bandwagon. We're rolling them bones.
Rolling the bones.
We're blowing on the dice. We're all in, man. We're hitting the jackpot with this one. I really enjoyed it. I thought they honestly did a good job of creating a. I mean, I get where a lot of people are talking about the Freddy Krueger aspect, being a wisecracking demon or spiritual entity, but it still kind of had its own origin story, tying into the German occult. It's even older than that.
It's even older. Yeah, it's older than that.
It has an original flair there. Yeah, he says some jokes and stuff, but at the same time, I like that. We've been seeing a lot of killers in the last couple of movies we've been watching where it's just a silent killer.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah, and I like the ending where, Nessa is kind of like, she's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going evil. I'm a one-handed evil bitch now. I like that. It's a nice twist. She releases Knucklebones back onto the people. And basically with that setup she has, she can put them away, take them out. Put them away, take them out. She can kind of control them. If they did do a sequel, it'd be kind of cool to see her kind of pulling the puppet strings of, Knucklebones.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be kind of cool.
I'd be down with that.
So, yeah, I enjoyed it. It felt original. It felt like they put some effort into it. Fuck those one-star reviews that says no effort put into this. Bullshit. I thought the people who wrote it put in some effort. They explained things.
They did.
They did a good job of covering holes. We noticed a few here and there, but overall, they really did a great job of explaining things and keeping you from having to make huge leaps.
Yes.
So overall, so bad it's good. I really enjoyed it.
Of course, I am right there with you. I agree with pretty much everything you said. I thoroughly recommend that everybody go out and see this movie. It's just, is it great? No. Is it so bad it's good? Yes.
Yeah.
I was entertained from opening scene to the credits. I was in it. I was on board the whole time. I was like, this is cool. It was good pacing. There really wasn't that much downtime. Yeah, you have this setup, the few minutes of setup, which you need in every movie. But once you get past the setup, it just go. I mean, it's really good. And like I said, pretty well written for the movies we've done. Lack of holes, it's explained itself. And like I said, I would love to see this turn into a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the sequel would be really cool. And you could also do, even if you don't want to do like chronological sequels, because like you said, there's 2,000 years. You could go back to like Knucklebones in like medieval times, and like where he's chasing around fucking people in a goddamn castle or something like that. I mean, you could Knucklebones throughout time or something like that. You could do so many different things with this.
Knucklebones in space.
You could do so many different things with this, with the mythology here, this setup.
You can build on it more if you want.
Yeah,
to.
and you really could.
You can do an origin story.
Where's Knucklebones from? Who made the first bone? Who made the first knuckle?
Why is he such a smartass?
Yeah. I was the one thing I didn't like about Knucklebones was the kind of cheesy red pentagram he had on his forehead. But other than that, he's fine. Like, I'm kind of rambling on, but I totally recommend seeing this movie. It was a lot of fun, great kills, decent writing. The girls are hot.
Acting's
The acting's not great, but it's not bad.
Like we mentioned, it doesn't take you out of it.
Ryan's awful, but we've seen it's not bad enough to take you out of the movie, really, if you just enjoy it for what it is. And it's just a fun slasher horror movie. It's just really fun to watch. So bad it's good from both of us. Go check it out. With that said, Aaron, tell the nice listeners where they can find us.
Well, you can always find us at our website, horriblehorrorpodcast.com. That is horriblehorrorpodcast.com. We are also available to you on Facebook. We are available to you on Instagram and also on Twitter at SoBadIt'sScary. We're on Twitter at SoBadIt'sScary. If you want to listen to us, again, you can listen to us on our website at horriblehorrorpodcast.com, listen to us on iTunes, listen to us on Podbean, and listen to us on Google Play.
That's true.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
I kind of spaced out there, so I apologize, but did you say you could download and listen to the episodes off the website too?
Oh my God! Yes.
All right, but you also said So Bad It's Scary twice, so just to make sure.
Twitter, we are at Twitter at So Bad It's Scary.
But everything else, Instagram, we're just Horrible Horror Podcast. Yes. Facebook, we're Horrible Horror. more horrible horror podcast.
We're not that hard to find.
Yeah, we're not.
It's pretty. You know what? Google the Horrible Horror Podcast. You'll find us.
You'll find us.
You'll find us.
You'll find us.
We like to make it easy. We make it easy for
All
you,
right,
baby.
everybody.
We give you an offer you can't refuse.
In the meantime, guys, we'll be back in another week. I think we're gonna try to get back to our weekly schedule now.
Yeah, we're
gonna do our best. We don't crucify us if we're not exactly a week on time right now. We're gonna work on it. But we're gonna try to get more weekly schedule. So we'll be back in a week-ish, we'll say, with a new horror movie. So in the meantime, watch more horror movies and remember to always keep it tight.